Hi, this is Isla again, and today I'd like to talk to you about psychic abilities and intuition. And let me just introduce the little doggies there. That's Cammy, that's Cammy, and that was Lily, and Duke will be around too. They're my video buddies. So anyway, I want to talk to you today about intuition versus psychic ability, because in my experience, I have been involved in teaching psychic development for years and going into a dark room in a circle and communicating with spirit for the intention of communicating with spirit, spirit team, spirit loved ones. It started because my own mom died when I was 27 and I missed her. You know, you go from seeing somebody all the time. My mom used to love to leave me messages when we had answer machines in the 80s. And all of a sudden, that's gone. And everybody has that loss where someone leaves, they die, whether it's sudden or it's gradual. My mom, it was gradual, but that didn't make it feel any better once she was gone. And I was out riding in the car one day with my then 3-year-old daughter and said, "I miss Grandma today." And the little voice behind me, my daughter Kristen, said, "Why, Mommy?" And I said, "Well, because I wish you were here. I just miss talking to her." And she giggled, the little 3-year-old giggle. "She's right here," she said. And I slowly pulled the car over because, nobody ever expressed such a thing to me before. And I turned around and I said to her, "What do you mean, honey? What do you mean Grandma's here?" And she pointed to the seat next to me and she said, "She's right there and she's holding your hand." And oh my God, my whole body got chills, and I get chills whenever I tell the story because this was a little child, innocent, sweet. In fact, her grasp on language was pretty new at the time. And she could see and feel and sense and hear my mother. I couldn't. I was like a cinder block. I was just nothing. I felt nothing. I saw nothing. I heard nothing. And I wanted to. I desperately wanted to. And for the next couple of years, I'd say until Kristen went to public school, she would talk about my mother, that my mother was in the room, that my mother was coming down the ladder, all the time. So I knew there was really something to it. And I began doing research and took a couple of local psychic classes. But then I got involved with psychics. It was called Psychic Studies Institute in Albany, New York. And they had 30-week-long classes. And boy, you can learn a lot more when you go to class every week for 30 weeks. And it was a 3-year program. So I went, and then I became a teacher, and I taught. And I taught because I wanted people to have the kind of expansive experience that I had sitting in those classes and opening up my mind and my heart to spirit, to communicate with spirit, to hear, to sense, to see, to know. And each of us gathers our information differently. I tend to hear, and sometimes I'll see things. Often spirit communicates with us symbolically, so then we need to learn our own way of interpreting those symbols. I've experienced a lot of my communication in dreams, where I wake up and I know the difference. And this is where intuition is really valuable. I know the difference between a dream that's just like, wow, that was cool, and something that's trying to tell me something. And I can feel that in my gut. That's why they call them gut feelings. That's what intuition is about. You and your life and your choices and your moments. It isn't about anybody else. Psychic is about everybody else. It includes other people. So when you get an intuitive feeling that maybe you need to stay home tonight, even though you really wanted to go out, you really wanted to go to that party, but something's telling you to stay home. And sometimes you never know why. It's like, gosh, I wish I would have gone. But no, you trust that feeling and you act on it. You think about it. It's good to bring the intuition in with the intellect and think it through, but not overthink it. I have another story for you. I have to tell this story. It's such a good story. I had a dream, and I'm not going to tell you when it is yet, but I had a dream, and in the dream, I was in a building, and I could see an airplane careening out of control like this and hitting the building next to me. And I called my partner Holly and said, we got to get out of the way. And the glass from where we were imploded and, was flying all over the place. Now, I told her about it, that dream, the next day, but there was someone else in the dream, and I wanted to tell him, and I also wanted to tell this whole group of leadership people I was involved with at the time. And Holly said, well, why are you going to tell them? Like, what's the point? What does it mean? I'm like, I don't know what it means, but I feel like I'm supposed to tell people about it, and especially those people. Well, I rationalized it, and I didn't tell anybody. I mean, I had told her, but I didn't tell the other people I wanted to tell. And I don't know what it would have done to tell them. But that was August 2001. And I was in Manhattan on September 11th, 2001. And I won't go into that. But as I was driving out of the city, one of the last cars out of Manhattan on September 11th, 2001, to drive to Albany, New York, where my son was, and I had to get home for him for school, I remembered that dream. And I said, oh my God, that's what the dream was. It was prophetic. That's a prophecy dream. That's not just about me and you and the dog. That's about the world. And that was huge. Now, had I told a whole bunch of people, would it have changed outcomes? I don't know. That's not what this is about. This isn't a linear experience, and that by, oh, well, I do this, and then this will happen, and then that'll happen, and then that. It's not how it works. It's about trusting what you get. If you feel you're supposed to tell someone, tell them. Say, hey, listen, I had this dream last night, blah, blah, blah. And maybe it has to do with them, maybe it doesn't. There have been, what I've learned to do when I have experiences that seem to be a message for somebody else is I ask them if they want to hear it first. I don't give unsolicited information like that. It's just not fair. People don't know what the heck you're talking about. So that's a little bit about psychic. When you have a dream, or you have an experience, or you have a premonition about your life that involves other people, is it intuition? Is it psychic? How about a little bit of both? Things in the spiritual world are not all black and white. It's not just this or that or the other thing. They're intertwined. And part of your learning process is to get to know the difference. So intuition, for exploring it for yourself, start to think about and maybe write down when you've noticed you had a feeling about something, that you could do this or you shouldn't do that, or you felt like it would have been a better idea if you didn't go out, you felt like it would have been a better idea. Write it down, starting today, whatever you remember. And if you don't remember anything, don't write it down. Write down what you noticed starting today with your intuition. It's that gut feeling that's down in your lower body. It's your second chakra kind of stuff. Now, if you already are really in tune with that, then look at your psychic ability. Have you ever had a sense that something was going to happen before it happened? Write it down. Do you have that feeling now? Write it down. Why? Because when we write things down, we take the energy that is a feeling, a sense, a knowing, and we put it on paper, and it makes it real in this world. We live in a physical world, right? So when you write it down, it becomes part of the physical world. When you tell a friend, it becomes part of the physical world. And that will help you to develop that as you move through this process. And by doing that, you're going to get to know a part of you a little bit better each time you do it. In the last video, I talked about meditation. Continue to look at that, but just do it. Do it in the way that you can do it. Some people I find are much more comfortable with walking meditation, especially if they've never sat for 20 minutes. And that means you walk slowly and you pay attention to where your foot's going, and you pay attention to your breath, and you breathe in and you breathe out and you walk, and it's very peaceful. It offers that. And that's what meditation does. It offers you a peacefulness. And as you become peaceful inside and your busy brain quiets just a little bit, no miracles. We don't expect you to go from thinking constantly to empty mind. It doesn't work that way. It's a process. And some days it goes smoother than others. But as you do that, and as you free up your mind, it makes space for intuition, psychic ability, spirit communication to come. And through that, you get to know you. And that's what this is about. This is about becoming you. So thanks for tuning in today, and check back for the next video.